Hey everyone, it's Arkeem. How are you doing today? It's been an interesting day for me. As I announced on Facebook and kind of in the thumbnail description of this or whatever, I talked to Donald Marshall today. It wasn't much of a conversation. If you're expecting some sort of collaboration in the future or something like that, that would be great. But I'm sorry to disappoint you. That's not on the table. It doesn't look like. I actually so how it all worked out and how we got in contact was I made some comments on his Instagram about how it's not just him in these cloning centers and getting his music stolen and stuff like that. And I didn't even know if he would see it because he's got a lot of people following him on there. And so then he added me on Facebook. So then I reached out to him. I asked him if he remembered me from the cloning centers at all, or his cloning center, because there's multiple ones, and sounds like he's at one. And basically, what he said to me was like, "No, I didn't remember seeing me. That's it." And so I said, okay, well, that's reasonable. I'm part of this thing, Ordo Templum Nephilim. It's like connected to Sweden and Max Martin and Dennis Pop and all this stuff and Montauk and this and that. And he read it and he just didn't say anything. He just didn't, it's Facebook. You can see when people saw your messages, he didn't say anything. And I don't know if you guys know who Daniel Sala is, but he's got his YouTube channel, Saint Olga 69. And this guy has interviewed me. And he has an entire video series on Donald Marshall. And he's been trying to interview Donald for a really long time, and Donald won't do it. Now, let me explain something to you people. I want to be perfectly clear about something. I believe in Donald Marshall's testimony because too much of it lines up with things that I remember, that other people remember. It's all about collaborative testimony, right? I talk about this all the time. It's all about looking for the common picture between different people who might not even associate with each other. And through doing that, you can see that Donald Marshall is talking about some real ass shit that's actually happening. So it doesn't really mean that much that he doesn't remember seeing me or anything like that. But then I brought up like, hey man, we need to disclose this. This is like really evil and all that. You should come on my channel. And he didn't say anything. He didn't even respond. And I know Daniel Salas tried to interview him. He won't do the interviews with anyone, and he won't go on the circuit, as it were, and form collaborative testimony with other people. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you people. I've had my life fucked with really. To say I've had my lives fucked with by these people on a level that's hard for people to imagine, hard for people to fathom. And look, man, when you're on the internet and you're talking about lizard people and they're eating babies and forcing people to eat babies and all this stuff, you sound absolutely insane. Let's be real here, okay? To the public, to most people, you sound absolutely insane. But if enough of us come out and talk about this stuff and talk about the same things and do it in a rational manner, where kind of like Donald Marshall does, that forms a picture where people are, wait a minute, this is happening to all sorts of people. So that's what I was trying to say to him. And he basically wouldn't respond to me. And I've just noticed this because I know there's other people who try to talk to him. He seems to think that like he's the only one who's like made a bunch of music. He's the only one who like they think is special and they treat like a thespian. Let me explain to you. Donald Marshall is what they call a thespian. What a thespian is like an actor or a musician or someone like that. They exist for these elite people's entertainment. And he is one of many. They just get off on it, on controlling people. When he talks about it, he's telling the truth. Like, I believe him, but it's not just random abuse, and he's not the only people writing the songs. And frankly, I was a bit offended because he said that he wrote all of Insane called Backstreet Boys and stuff, I'm pretty sure. And look, I know I wrote some of that music, and I can even explain one of the songs. And look, man, I'm not trying to attack Donald Marshall. All I'm saying is this guy needs to come out and talk with the rest of us. And I told him that. I told him that he can't just be a victim forever. He's got to be a warrior. He's got to come out and fight the shit with the rest of us. That's what I told him. And he got mad at me and he blocked me. That's what happened. I'm sorry that it's not like, hey, he's going to be on the channel. We're doing an interview soon. But that's what happened. And I just told him, like, you're not the only one. Like, he didn't seem to want to talk to James Rink 4 or 5 years ago. It just, he should have. And he, like, did like the schmear campaign at James. Like, look, I know James right now, a lot of people aren't too happy with him and stuff like that, but it just seems to me like people want to talk to him and he just won't do it. And then he's got his Instagram and, he talks about he is a victim. He's been victimized. But all I'm saying is you got to get out of that. You can't just talk about being abused forever. You gotta start working with other people and working through this. And like I told him, I was like, my life gets fucked up by these people too. They like torture my kids in front of me and stuff. Like, you're not the only one, and how dare you just like treat us all like we don't matter. That's how he's treating me. Like, I could feel his energy through it. I'm empathic. Like, it was very much so like dismissive. Like, I don't remember you, and that's it. For me, if I don't remember someone, like, hey, I don't remember you, but that doesn't mean you were in the programs. Like, I really try to talk to people. Like, I know there's a lot of people in my inbox, so sometimes my answers are like 2 or 3 words, and I don't say as much as maybe people would like, because there's a lot of people trying to talk to me. But I always try to respond to people and stuff like that. And I just told them, like, look, man, you need to, and I don't know, maybe I'm the one at fault here, but I just get upset when people are trying to talk to me and he won't do it. And maybe it's because they're threatening him. Maybe it's because of this. Maybe it's because of that. There could be a lot of different reasons. But I just really feel like it would be very fucking helpful, okay, if he would come forward and instead of just being in his own little corner talking about all this stuff, if he would come and just, he doesn't need to even publicly talk at conferences and all that stuff if he doesn't want to, but it'd be nice if he would come out on the circuit and be like a part of what is now a network. Because if people aren't doing that, then it's really hard for there to be a clear picture. And what he's talking about is super important, because these people are super psychotic. They really can activate people. They really can do all this shit. And they kind of rub it in their face, in people's faces. I'm wondering what's going on with this chat. I bet there are people in the chat, live chat. If anyone has any questions or anything like that, feel free to say something. I don't know how it all works. I'm really new to this. But so yeah, that's all I was really saying, is that like we need to, like, collaborative testimony is important. And you know, I just told him, like, you're not the only one. Like, they do this to a lot of people. Like, you need to stop acting like you are the only one. That's kind of not fucking cool. Like, I'm sorry, but it fucking isn't. It's not cool. Like, you see me and John Whitberg talking about this stuff and other people talking about this. I'm pretty sure there's other people other than me and John who have talked about songs getting stolen from them, including, and Donald Marshall, you know what I mean? We're not trying to act like we're the only people. And I think it's kind of fucked up to do that, frankly. And I also know how the songs worked with the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and all those bands that were made by Ordo Temple Nephilim, which is connected to Dennis Pop, who passed away in 1998, and Max Martin, who's his protege, who now is like the producer that does everything now. I think he calls it Maritone Studios, but they used to call it Chiron Studios. Chiron is the Greek god that longed for death. He was a centaur. He longed for death, and he couldn't have it, and he was cursed with immortality. He was shot with an arrow, and he couldn't die, so he lived in pain, and he wished he could die. And that's more or less like a nod to what they were doing to the people at that place. And also they were showing people with, like, you know, no strings attached. I'm sorry that I can't pull up images. I don't know how to do that on this yet. I'll figure that out in the future. But basically, No Strings Attached by NSYNC, the album cover, it's them like puppets on a stage with strings attached to them. And it's showing everyone that they're mind controlled. Like, look, like, I'm not just making broad blanket statements that are like, they eat babies and da 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 da. Like, I that part is important, but like, look, man, I'm trying to really connect the dots here, and I'm just saying it'd be nice if people like Donald's been talking to people for 10 years. Like, why isn't he talking to people right now? I don't understand that. Like, is he under threat, under duress? He could maybe express that. I don't know, but I just know that I've had my music stolen from me. It pisses me off. I know that I've woken up at these cloning centers and they've done atrocious things to me. They made me clean up body parts and blood. It's not fun. So that's why I just wish that, yeah, I just feel like he has a holier than thou attitude. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the asshole for calling him out and telling him that he shouldn't act like a victim. I've had people telling me that, you know, like 2 years ago, and I had realized now, like, a lot of these people are kind of right. Like, yeah, I was victimized. I do need to talk about it. These people do need to be brought to justice. But we have all the power in the world. We need to remember that. And I'm coming forward here with evidence, man. Like, there is evidence. Like, they're showing you, like, that stuff with Chiron and he longed for death. They had Dennis Pop, and you can look into this. I'm going to make a documentary about this in the near future. I've been so busy with the conference. But basically, he had a red hit light. He called it the hit light. And this is shown in, like, documentaries about him. And it would turn on while he was working on music, and he'd be like, oh, now we really need to work on the song. We really need to, like, record tracks. And because it's a hit. And what people don't get is that meant, like, there was SRA going on that was connected to the song and being put into the song. And a lot of times it was sexual energy. And what they would do is, in this ritual, they would have And I'll be honest with you, the memories are kind of blurry. I would wake up there and over again, and I wouldn't even remember the last time. But I do remember like and it's done in not always the same way every time, but it's pretty similar. Like they do some sort of sexual ritual where somebody is SA'd, and then they, at the moment of a forced climax, they oftentimes will decapitate the individual. And then that energy is through, I guess, black magic, you'd call it. Really, there's no other way to say it. They put that in the song, and it's like that psychic energy is in the song, and it's super intense sexual energy that programs people, and that's why most music affects people's root chakra, and it's about sex. It's because it's like a really control mechanism. So yeah, when I talk about the stuff, like I got a lot of evidence, I got a lot of dots to connect, and yeah, I would like Donald to help with this a little bit because I know that he's not lying. I know he's telling the truth, but I do see there's a few discrepancies. I think like he didn't write all the music. You know what I mean? Like he didn't. You know, you didn't. He's talking about stuff that's too accurate to be lying. Because I remember a lot of same type of things, and other people do, and the vril and all that. You know, it's all real. So, but it's just like why can't you talk with other people? Why can't you collaborate? What's going on? Are you like the Jesus of this or something? Because it's like that's not how this works. And again, I'm sorry if I'm the one being rude, but I'm really passionate about this. Like I care about this a lot. And this guy knows who I am. He knows I want to talk to him. He knows other people. Like he's my friend on Facebook. He's got to see my book coming out and all that. It's like, why don't you just like respond to my messages, bro? Like I'm not just some nobody. Like I don't know. Like, and I could sense the energy, which other people have talked about too. He just doesn't seem to want to talk to other people about this, which that's lame. I do. I have a whole YouTube channel where that's all I do is try to collaborate with other people and fill in the holes and make this a clear picture so that we can actually prosecute these people. That's what we have to do. And that's how we get out of being victims and step into our power. That's all I'm saying. So, but anyway, so now I just kind of want to explain some of these really weird coincidences, right? Right? Some of the evidence, okay? And like for instance, Backstreet Boys, okay, like you can't maybe call this evidence, but Backstreet Boys has the song "As Long as You Love Me." Now everybody's heard this song. No, doesn't matter who you are, as long as you love me. It doesn't matter where you are, where you're from. It's like let's step back for a moment, everybody watching this in the present moment or in the future or whatever. Let's think about this for a second. When you love someone, why do you love them? You love them for who they are, what they are, probably even where they come from and their background and their history. That's a part of who they are, so you care about that. So how does that make any sense? Well, let's rewind. What if it was a time soldier talking about that song, right? I don't care who you are, meaning people are monarch programmed. They're put into these different lives. They're given different names, different personalities. They're different people. So I can tell you, that song, I made it. It's about my trauma twin, all right? It's about how I didn't really care what was going on, what life they put me in, or what was happening, as long as I was with them, which was kind of part of the program, because that's how they reward you. And if you weren't with their program and what they wanted you to do, they could instantly just take them away from you. So that song is about my trauma twin, Evelyn, at Montauk, and it's about how basically I didn't give a fuck where we were placed, what lifetime we were living in, what our names were, what her fake background story is that they gave her, or a real one, or whatever in the manufactured life. It didn't matter to me as long as I got to be with her. That's all I cared about. And I wrote that at Montauk for her, so when we got out of these lives and she came back, she could hear the song and remember that, and like get grounded in the fact that like, you know, this like we really, it's not just manufactured or something like that. But the thing is with trauma twins is it is manufactured, and it can be a dangerous thing. Like to those people of you out there who might have a connection or be talking to them, your trauma twin or something like that, tread with caution. I don't claim to be an expert on this subject, but I will say this. I will say there are people who really glorify the twin flame thing and talk about how I really wish the comment section was working. I feel like I might have said it like too hard to make it people talk or something, because I feel like people would totally be talking right now. And I don't know why. It says Chad is an approved user. Maybe it's I need to be approving people. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, a lot of these songs, if you pay attention to the lyrics, you'll realize that it's like, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, so people, I see the reactions, I see the laughs, I see the hearts. I don't see any chat. So I'm new to this, and I'm sorry. I figured that would be a good part of this because people could ask me questions and stuff. I don't know why it's not working. The only thing, the way to learn how to do things, some things, is just doing them. So that's where we're at right now. So, but I'm seeing everyone's reaction, so it's kind of like you're communicating with me through the thing. But anyway, so yeah, I'm basically like, there's evidence. Here's some other evidence I got here. So we got some songs that I will tell you now the truth, and you'll be able to go on YouTube and you'll be able to look these songs up, and you'll be able to be like, damn, you're right. And basically, what it is, it's like 3 different songs, and they say that the singer on the songs is different people. They say it's a different singer on these 3 songs, and it's not. The songs are "Sweet Dreams of Rhythm and Dancing," okay, and "Be My Lover," and "Rhythm is a Dancer," okay, and "Rhythm of a Night." Okay, and that's Snap, LaBouche, and Corona are the 3 different artists that they say made those songs. Okay, now you can go on the internet right now, or after this or something like that, and listen to those 3 songs. And I'm telling you right now, and you can use your own discernment. Those are all the same woman. Okay, listen, and it's the same person who made them. You can tell. Listen. Okay, and the formula that they use is they had that woman sing, and then they'd have somebody rap on the song, who really, that's always the worst part of these 3 songs, is when the guy starts rapping, because this woman, the memories are vague, but I know it's a part of it, and she was super, like, she had a psychic energy to her, and she was a very great singer, and she's putting that out there, and you're feeling it, and then all of a sudden this normal schmuck guy that's just there for money laundering comes in and does some cheesy rap, and then the actual song comes back on again. Kind of is the way I feel about these songs. But so, and then another interesting thing, and like I said again here, I'm connecting the dots for you people. I got notes and everything. So one of those songs, which was "Sweet Dreams of Rhythm and Dancing," the guy who worked on that song, the guy who was the random rapper that they had work on the song, he's a guy that his birth name is Donald Lane McCrae. His music name is Lane McCrae, and basically he was a United States Air Force guy who was stationed all around the world, and he was based in Saarbrücken, Germany, where basically he ended up somehow randomly just getting picked up for this hit song, like out of nowhere, which is LaBouche's, "Sweet Dreams of of Rhythm and Dancing." And so basically, like, this guy, like, out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere, just became famous, like, overnight. And yeah, they just the explanation is that they met this guy at he was out performing with a cover band, and they just picked him. And so here's another fact about all this is the song "Rhythm of the Night," and probably all the songs, if I were to look into them and find the truth, the song "Rhythm of the Night," it's basically I'm having a brain fart. The song "Rhythm of the Night." What was I saying about that? I forgot what I was gonna say. I was talking about Lane McCrae. "Rhythm of the Night." I don't remember what I was gonna say, guys. I gotta move on to another thing. Maybe I'll remember it and I'll go back to it. Maybe they didn't want me to say that. Maybe there's an alter come in or something. But yeah, it's all the same. Oh yeah, "Rhythm of the Night." Okay. The singer in the video that you see in the video, there's a video. First of all, watch the video. It's got all sorts of weird occult imagery in it, sigils and stuff like that, portals, things like this. And so watch the music video. But it's fact that the woman in the "Rhythm of the Night" video, that's not the woman who sings the song. That's like fact. You can look it up. That's music history. And basically what it is, and it's a proof to me, interesting coincidence at the very least, but proof at the most, that they just manufacture this. Who puts this music out? Doesn't matter. Back in the day, it was all just people lip syncing, and Milli Vanilli got caught with that. And some of these artists that I'm talking about now, at least 2 or 3 of them are connected to the same producer as Milli Vanilli. I forget his name, but they're literally, a lot of these artists that I talk about who stole my music, they were produced by this guy who also produced Milli Vanilli, who didn't even sing their own music. That's how the music industry works. These people are manufactured, okay? And like I said, with you're not getting the full picture from Donald Marshall, really, because like they manufacture, okay, Britney Spears that's not her birth name. Her birth name was like Gabriella or something like that. Like her birth name is not Britney Spears. She was sold to Disney by her family, who didn't even really fully conceptualize what they're doing. It was basically like the equivalent of signing their soul to them, and they basically said, "Hey, we're gonna give her like a fake life." It's like when she got signed to with Max Martin and stuff like that. They give you like fake parents. We're MK Ultra handlers, by the way. Fake parents, which that explains them managing her assets and all this weird stuff. It's evidence right there. Okay, I'm putting the dots together for you. Like that's the reason they manufactured, and that's the reason why she shaved her head. Everybody, the reason why she shaved her head was not because she was crazy. It's because they literally, in the contract. This is how fucking crazy these contracts are. They're non-disclosure agreements, which Amanda Bynes has posted on her account that is like a sock account, but everybody knows it's her. She posted her non-disclosure, like a little piece of it, but like not enough of it for it to be illegal. She posted about it, and what it is you can't talk about what they did to you. You can't. It's illegal. You can get all this trouble and all this stuff. And in the contract that they signed, they give you fake parents who are cool hip parents, right? They give you a whole fake life. They tell you who you can hang out with, who you can be with. Sometimes they'll give them contacts and tell them that they will fine them or punish them for not wearing the contacts if they're seen in public without the contacts. They have to wear their hair a certain way. They're only allowed to wear certain clothes in a certain way. And every single aspect of their fucking lives is manufactured fucking completely. It's become a little harder to do at the internet age because and what you're seeing with Britney Spears right now, with her going on her Instagram and stuff like that, that's not her. That's not even Britney Spears. And you can go on TikTok right now and look into this and go down the rabbit hole. There are tons of people who prove that's an AI sprite. She's shooting out six fingers for certain frames and going through her arm and weird shit like that. That's not her. Her ex-wife, even his name is Jason Alexander, the same name as the guy that was on Seinfeld, but it's a different guy. Her ex went to her wedding, her new wedding. She wasn't even there. He was live streaming it on TikTok, trying to show people something weird's going on. So I don't know what's going on there, but I think they're trying to make her look as crazy as possible. So it's like, the video with her with the knife and everything. So like, they shouldn't have gave. It was a good thing her dad was controlling all her money, which it wasn't. You know what I mean? They want to control every aspect of these people's lives. You know what I mean? And like I said, they show it. Like I said, with the No Strings Attached, that album, and the Chiron. They have all this imagery where if you know what the imagery means, you can look and see what they're saying. It's not all hidden. It's not all in the dark. And like I said, with all these Air Force connections, we got Lane McCrae. That's not the only time. You got Glenn Miller, who's connected to the songs At Last and all these other different songs. He was one of the most popular and successful bands of the 20th century in the big band era, and he was from the Air Force. He was from the Glenn Miller Army Air Force Orchestra. And so he was the one who performed a lot of older Montauk music and stuff like that. And yeah, he was, connected to the Air Force. And you can look into the whole, what's it called? Laurel Canyon. There's a book on it. And the fact that basically like all of these musicians, like Jim Morrison, the Mamas and the Papas, and Frank Zappa. they just coincidentally come from families with high-ranking military personnel. How interesting. And also the fact that they used the Rolling Stones talked about who are hardcore Satanists straight out in the open, by the way. Like, they're not even fucking hiding it at all. But they basically came out and said in an interview how they found out their albums were funding the radars. Decca Records was funding the radars and made radars for the war. So what I'm showing you here is the military-industrial complex. Ads inserted. It says ads inserted. I'm gonna wait a second here. Ads inserted. Look, this is all new to me. I didn't know they would interrupt my video. I don't know if when it's live they don't or they do or something, but I guess I'll just talk or chill out for a second. Hope everyone's doing a good day. I don't want people to miss what I'm saying because some ads playing over it. I'm so new to this guys, but I promise you I'm going to get better and better at it, and I'm going to be bringing you more and more quality, high quality content that's really with proof and evidence and really pushing us forward into some brand new light. So anyway, I don't know how long this ad will go on for. So basically, what I'm saying, it's so obvious. Like there are dots to connect here. It's not just random people like singing in a cloning center and they're like, oh, let's take that, let's use that, that's good. No, it's a whole fucking corporation, you guys. It's a whole, what's it called, operation. It's a whole operation with a methodology. Like they have a methodology to it, a way of doing things, and it's like a cult. They've got beliefs, which unfortunately their beliefs are kind of true. Like you can put mind control into music through sex energy and stuff like that and sell more records and make millions of dollars, billions of dollars. It works. Like, but yeah, there's just all this weird stuff here. And then another thing that I found recently, which this is a new one. So I've been talking about Ordo Tempelum Nephilim, and I've been talking about, and this is new information, guys. Not Ordo Tempelum Nephilim, but this aspect of things. And I basically said to you guys, I've been talking about this in interviews, how they take the music. I've talked about how I got sent to Centurion 5 in the future, in a time bubble. I know this sounds insane, but it's the fucking truth, and that's all I'll ever do is tell the truth. I don't care how crazy it sounds. I got sent to the future in a time bubble, and I got forced to work on, well, not me, forced, I don't know, like they told me, like, your music's going to be heard by the whole world, and it was so tempting. I think I was just like, all right, I'll do it. And I didn't realize how much sacrifice I'd have to make and how fucking nuts it would be, like in the rituals and all the other aspects of it, where I'm going to write a whole book just about the music aspect. That's my next book. The first book that is coming out on the 13th of July, everyone, on Amazon, and it'll be available at the conference and stuff like that. And if you want signed copies, message me, and I can individually sell you signed copies. I'll make a little bit more money that way, and that way you get an individualized copy. It's good. It works for everybody because Amazon takes a pretty decent chunk of change from me. But what was I saying, man? I have ADHD, so it's hard for me to like make a segue into something else and then come back. Like my brain's bad at that. I got to get better at that. Oh yeah, but basically, so I've been talking about Ordo Tempelum Nephilim. Good thing I have notes. I need to do this all the time. I've been talking about Ordo Tempelum Nephilim, and I talked about how they took a bunch of music, and I talk about Smash Everything into Pieces is one of the bands that took my song. You can look up their song Forever Alone, and then you can listen to how similar it sounds to The Weeknd's Blinding Lights. They sound like they're made by the same person. It's the same sound, the same kind of instruments. And basically, because it's me, I made that song. I made both those songs. I made them on Centurion 5. In the future, there's also a gentleman that I used to live with who went by the name of Ghost Effects. He was a producer. He was taken with me at the time. He's one of the biggest geniuses on this planet, and nobody knows who he is. He's a really weird, like I don't mean to be rude, but in real life, in the here and now, he's like a hermit. He hardly leaves his house. At least that's how he was. He had a falling out, and I don't talk to him anymore. But another weird thing about that, not to backtrack too much, but I realized recently he has songs that I found that we made together, Ghost, and some of them are like showing me like he remembered stuff and he knew this happened too. And it brought back some memories. I want to share those with you guys right now. So he has some songs that I'll post them on my Patreon, these songs, which is going to come soon, by the way. I'll have an announcement soon. There's so much stuff in the works. I'm like going into this hard now. But basically, I found the song called Looper 2600 AD or something like that. And other songs with weird names like that, like time travel-y weird names. And I was like, that's weird because, like, yeah, we time travel, like I remember, and I didn't think he remembered. But now I look back and I remember stuff, and I realized he actually remembered faster than I did and realized what was going on before I did. But it's hard to talk about this stuff. Like, he came home from work one day, he worked at Walmart, and I was just like hanging out. And he's like, hey, man, what do you think of the predestination paradox? Like, what are you talking about? What's that? It's like basically something that from the future can affect the past and create the present and the future. Like, and it's always been there, and it's just been that way forever. And it just kind of doesn't make sense, but it does, and it works. It just works. What do you think of that? You think that's possible? He asked me that. Like, it was so random and weird, but he was a really interesting, like, artist guy, so wasn't that off to me. That's how we are. We're kind of conversations and stuff like that. And I was just like, yeah. I actually said, you guys are gonna think this is funny. I actually said, I don't really think that's possible. That sounds a bit screwy. It sounds a bit loony. I don't think so. And now I'm realizing it's because he was trying to gauge, like, do you remember, bro? We went to the future. And it's kind of funny too, because he even told me, he came home one day, he's like, I don't want to be a famous musician anymore and go on stage. I just want to be the guy in the background that makes music for everybody else, like a super producer that just makes music for people. That's like that's kind of what happened. That's what he did. And so yes, we gave like I said, you can look into like Smash Everything into Pieces and The Weeknd and how those Forever Alone and Blinding Lights and how those songs sound so similar and stuff like that. And yeah, those songs were made at the Centurion. And there's a reason why they sound so similar. But then there's also, so like I said, it's a Swedish thing. It's connected to Max Martin and Dennis Pop and Ordo Tempelum Nephilim, which is this weird cult in Sweden that maybe it's in other countries, but I know for sure it's in Sweden, guys, because I was there. And they called me the little boy who sings. And I would wake up at a cloning center, and this creepy guy would bring me to the studio. And Britney Spears, I remember her. She would say hi to me, and I'd always be like, "Hi, and nice to meet you." And she'd be like, "You don't remember me? Like we already met," because I forgot it every time. And like they had a whole ritualistic way they did this. It was black magic. It wasn't just like random, like, "Hey, sing a song, kid." They had a whole way they did it. I'll go more and more into it as like the memories get clear and as I research it more and it puts everything together. But they had a ritualistic way of doing things. And anyway, I found this guy, so this is a new thing, and it's just like a secret. This is literally, it's presented that way, and this is a Guardian article. And like I said, I'm sorry I can't share my screen with you in the future. Maybe I'll be able to do another one where I share the screen and stuff. But there's this guy, Johan Roar, and 2,700 songs have been streamed 15 billion times and have more plays than Britney Spears or ABBA. And he's a secret composer who has released a bunch of different music. He's Stockholm-based, and he is behind more than 650 different artists on the streaming service who have been played 15 billion times, making him Sweden's most current played artist. And he's got names like Maya Ostrom, Minik Knudsen, Hingmi Huzui, Sismanian et al. And okay, so he always chooses these weird names, and it's funny. I actually looked some of these up, and for me, some of them actually had inside jokes showing that it was Ghost making the song. For instance, there's a channel on YouTube right now called Baby Murcielago, okay? Baby.Murcielago, okay? And it's putting out a bunch of different music right now. Like, it's insane. Like, every week it puts out a playlist, and it says it's all these different artists and stuff like that, but it's all being put up by the same thing. And Neon Catalog is the name. That's the name that it's all copyrighted under, but it's all these different artists and stuff like that. And if people talk to him, I've asked in the comments of these playlists, which are all one video, but it's broken up so you can go to different songs. People ask, like, did you make all this music? Is any of it AI? And the guy says, yes, I made every single song, and some of it's AI, and none of it's AI. And he also, which is weird because I called him on this today in the comment section. He has a song where it's like an artist featuring another artist, and I was like, bro, how do you feature an artist when you're the only person making this? That doesn't even make sense, guy. Like, what do you mean? And one of the artists that I can tell you, his music's hard to find now. He got really weird after the Time Corporation thing. Got psychologically. I did not realize that was going on at the time, and I feel so fucking bad. And it was part of our falling out, actually, is what the Time Corporations did to us. It fucks you up mentally. It made him look at music not the same way anymore. He did not want to go out into the world and do music anymore. I really do think that was part of the reason why he didn't want to do music anymore and why we had a falling out. It's because of this Time cult. But basically, Stereo Float. There's an artist called Stereo Float, and that's all this guy at Ghost Effects. I don't want to say his real name because out of his respect, he uses a moniker at Ghost Effects. He's had a bunch of different other names. Fatal, spelt with a V instead of an A. He literally did this in real life. Like I saw him. Like, he makes all this different kinds of. This guy, okay, when he lived with me, and because he didn't have a job at the time. When I lived with him, it was a little bit different because he worked. But when he lived with me, he literally would fall asleep at his computer working on music and wake up at his computer and just start working right away. Like, the guy was just, it's like psychotic how fucking much this guy just was, so the volume of stuff he put on. That's why they want to kidnap him and me. And, but yeah, this Baby Murcielago page, basically I found, you look up Stereo Float and you look up the name, and it's this weird name. You guys can go down this rabbit hole if you want to. I don't remember his name, but you can look it up yourself. You'll find the SoundCloud, and it says his name. It's some weird Swedish name or something like that. And then you look into it, and the only person you can find with that name is this personal trainer where all of his Instagram is him flexing his muscles and stuff. And I know ghosts humor, dude. Like I know. And it's just like that's how they're doing this, you guys. And this is why I'll explain it to you. Music has changed. Okay, it used to be back in the day, people like got into a niche and got really into it, and they got in these certain artists because they had their CD that they played over and over again. It's different now. People are constantly discovering new music going on Spotify, and a lot of times what people do is they're like something chill to relax to. That's why that music channel, lo-fi beats to study and relax to. That's why it's doing so freaking well, you guys. Is because it's just like people literally look like music to relax to, and then they find it. Like and there's also like synthwave playlist. Like I know because I do this. Have you done this? Like you want to listen to some synthwave or EDM or whatever it is. That's what these guys are doing. They're putting out just EDM playlists, and it's all these artists you've never heard of, but you don't care. You're just trying to listen to some EDM. But then you look into it, start looking into these weird playlists and stuff like that. That's all you'll find when you find out it's one person who claims to be like all these different artists, and this is happening over and over and over again, you guys. Like this is Ordo Tempulum Nephilim. They know how it works now. They know you're going to make more money putting out the mood of this and the feeling and like phrases in the title of the song that will help people find it that want to find it more than like being an artist and putting out a song with like some artistic name or whatever. It's a new methodology of selling music and making money off of it. And they're making billions literally off of Spotify, which pays next to nothing per stream. But you also have the fact that, Spotify is in on this. Spotify is definitely in on all this Time Corporation stuff. I can only imagine. Like, that's not a fact. I can't say that it's fact like, oh, I remember. But come on. I mean, it's just like kind of common sense, isn't it? Right? And some other more interesting stuff that I want to point out while we're here. Check out this shirt, you guys. This is Steve Miller Band. Doesn't that look familiar to you? That's Project Pegasus. What is that? A Pegasus jumping out of a Stargate. I mean, they literally show you. And then the greatest hits of Steve Miller Band, the album cover. Look at it. Go look at it right now. It's fucking Blucifer, you guys. It's Blucifer. Before Blucifer ever was even thought of, conceptualized, or erected at the Denver airport, there you have it on their greatest hit album cover, which I remember growing up. My parents had that CD. A bunch of people had that vinyl record and stuff. It was very popular, sold very well, made a lot of money, and they're showing you right on there. This is a lot of the Time corporations are connected to this stuff. They want people in the know to know. Like, hey, you might find some songs you recognize from other realities and stuff. Like, there's a scene, there's a movie, you guys. It's about like a guy who the Beatles, their songs don't exist for some reason, and he remembers them and he's performing them. And not to give too much of a spoiler alert for this movie, but there's a scene in it where these people come up and they're like, hey man, we remember the Beatles. And he like thinks they're gonna be all mad at him. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, he's like, no, they're like, dude, thank you for letting us hear these songs. Like, thank God. And it put things into perspective for me. Like a lot of these people who perform my music and stuff like that, I don't think they have any idea what's going on. Like, you have to understand, like, the record label, like, it's just like all Black Ops. You only know what you need to. Maybe Max Martin knows that there's time travel shit going on, but he does Pink, like, or like some of these other, do they all know? No. Also, there are a lot of them are mind controlled and made sure to not know. You know what I mean? You can see it like Katy Perry, like malfunctioning like a robot on stage. I mean, clearly she's MK Ultra, right? And then you look at all the music videos that they put out. It's all occult beyond belief. You know what I mean? Dark Horse. And then we're talking about the horse with Lucifer, and they use that imagery over and over again, and it's the symbol for the PSYOPs division of the military, which is a golden chess piece of a horse, and it says persuade, manipulate, change, or something like that. I think I said that a little bit wrong, but you get the picture. So yeah, I'm just saying there's like evidence to this stuff. And the cloning. Let's get to that aspect of things, So we all remember cloning, and we all remember Dolly the sheep, and we all know, if you understand kind of like the basic science of it, it's if you can clone a sheep, then you can clone a human. Like, we're not that different. Like, it's the same concept. And I don't know if you remember, but Clonate actually claimed to have made humans. And what do you think happened? You think that it got shut down? Bill Clinton went on TV. He said, well, we're going to shut this all down. That's not what happened. Those are already happening. They're just one corporation who figured out how to do it, and they're doing it publicly. The rest of the corporations that have done it are time corporations that have done it privately. So that's really the only difference there. And once they realize, like, I mean, they're out there. You can go on their website and you can get clones and stuff. They have a website, guys. Look it up. It still exists out in the open. They're not even hiding. So yeah, and the celebrities are talking about it, having clones and stuff like that. So yeah, it's real. And of course, and this is what I'm saying, is like, I'm not trying to shit on Donald Marshall. I'm just saying he didn't want to talk to me, and I was like, dude, you need to stop being a victim and just sitting in your corner and sulking. You need to join this with like the revolution with this guy. Like, what are you doing? Like every single person that talks to me is like, you heard Donald Marshall? You heard of Donald Marshall? Like, why the fuck aren't we talking to each other? That's stupid. Like, why? Like, so I'm sorry. I probably was maybe the one who fucked up here because I got upset. And maybe there's a reason he doesn't want to talk to me, like he's getting threatened or something like that. But that's where I'm at, guys. Is like, he didn't make all the music. You got John Whipper, you got me, you got all sorts of other people. I think Eve Howard has publicly said that song, Peter Pan, that she wrote that, or at least the words for it. Yeah, so there's a lot of that going on. Oh yeah, and then I got some more people in here that you can look into, I guess. There's there's just, some names. Harry Warren, Glenn Miller, Lane McCrae. These are some of the people that worked with this stuff. There was a really important one that maybe I got to go back or forward. Yeah, Glenn Miller is one of the guys. I don't know. There's more. There's this one guy I found where you just look at him and he's like, this guy's. He's like, it says that he wrote like all the lyrics for all these songs, and he just looks like a gangster. He doesn't really look like a musician at all. I just thought it was kind of funny. I was trying to find that guy, but I guess I accidentally closed the window. But yeah, that's basically all I gotta say, man. Collaborative testimony, like, no one needs to be in their corner alone, like saying stuff all by themselves. Like Donald Marshall is basically like, I don't remember you, and then just dipped on me and was not interested in talking to me. I think that's fucking rude. I think that's counterproductive. I think if you really want to shut down time corporations, then you would talk to people, maybe do interviews, or at least explain to people who are also victimized by this stuff why you don't want to do interviews, because it's emotional for all of us, okay? And like, dude, you see the cover of the Megadeth album and stuff like that. Like, he's got his proof too. Like, I'm not saying the guy's lying, not at all. I'm just saying, like, he didn't make all the music. It's not the only one doing it, and we all need to collaborate. And I wish that he would do that. That would be cool if he would collaborate. But anyway, yeah, I kind of was a little bit. I kind of told him, like, look, man, like, it's not cool for you to. It's kind of a dick to him, I'll admit it. I told him it wasn't cool of him to sit, like, to not respond to my messages. Like, I'm telling you, I'm victimized by time corporations and stuff, and I know you are too. And there's a whole movement going on, and he talks publicly about how he wants to shut this shit down and how they're afraid of him. It's like, bro, they'll be even more afraid of you if you work with other people. If you really want to do it, then if you really are about it, then be about it. That's all I'm saying, man. And I mean, I wish him luck getting his testimony out there. All I'm saying is, like, I was just trying to help fill in the blanks and create a clearer picture through collaborative testimony, which we all should be doing. So that's the end of this. I think I said everything I wanted to say. Don't want to go on too long. And also, another thing I want to say is there's a reason why I think this ended up organically happening on Independence Day. Because, like, this is about human independence. This is about human autonomy. This is about, like, our rights being violated, liberty. And those are concepts that a lot of people really deeply reflect on this day, regardless of how you feel about the American empire or where it came from or whatever. People reflect on those ideals and stuff like that today. And I think it's an important thing to do. And I think that I try to, like, this live stream, I hope, is a little bit of an extension of that. So in the future, I'm trying to figure it out where you guys can actually talk to me and ask me questions and stuff. That was like half the point of doing this, is I wanted people to be able to chime in. And any questions you guys have, I'm all ears. I guess in the future, I will be doing like a live stream question and answer. I think I need to get a moderator, because what I did is I made it so you had to get approved, but then I don't think I have a moderator. I think I like accidentally turned off the commenting through because I didn't want trolls to come in. But I don't have a moderator, so I think I need a moderator in order to do this whole approved user thing. I didn't have one. I could have literally just had Kat do it. I should have thought of that, but that's all right. Anyway,
I think what it is I think it's probably set to for kids by default, the streaming.
No, I turn it off.
Oh, you did? Okay.
It asks me every time.
That's the only thing I could find that would be why the comments didn't work.
Anyway, people, if you want to look into it, everything I'm talking about, look at music. Look at the music videos. Look at what they're showing you. And again, I know Donald Marshall wrote music in the programs. I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not calling him a liar. And I'm not saying he's calling me a liar either. All I'm saying is he seems to be unwilling to work with other people, and that's a bummer. But I wish him luck, and I wish everybody else trying to get the word out about this luck. Really, I do. I'm not here trying to talk crap about him or anything. I'm just saying we all need to work together. That's all. And that's basically the end of it, guys. I love you so much. Thank you for your support. There's still tickets available for the Full Disclosure Now conference, fulldisclosuremovement.org, if you want to check that out. It's not too late to come be a part of the event. The Day of Being is happening before, which a lot of people are really thrilled about. I unfortunately won't be there for that. I opted to be there for the weekend after so I can spend some time with Drago Reed and do some QHHT with them, so that's going to be good. But I will be there for the entire duration of the conference. It's going to be my first presentation. I'll be talking about a lot of the stuff that I just brought up now, but mostly I'm going to be concentrating on like the more like basic aspects of human cloning and stuff like that. I'll get into the music industry a little bit, but it won't be the whole thing. And it's just and my book comes out on July 13th for people looking for it. And if you want to order physical copies from me and have me ship you a signed copy, hit up my my messages or whatever, and I can arrange that for people. And have a good day, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Much love.